When working with law of assumption and rewriting your stories, you will find that reality will present you with opportunities to release the old version and the old stories. There's a phrase in the Bible called "let the dead bury the dead," and that is what this means, and that is what we're talking about today, so stick around. This channel is dedicated to simplifying the amazing law of assumption teachings. My name is Hedley and I'm a qualified life coach. If you would like any support with rewriting, rescripting, reimagining any part of your reality, I am available for one-to-one law of assumption coaching. I also have a free 21-day set yourself up with the ultimate self-concept course, which is the ultimate story you want to be starting with when you're coming into these teachings. And I have my new book, I Am Money, Assume a New Story and Enjoy More Money. You'll find all of those details in the box below this video or at my website, youaretheone.com.au. So when you are working with law of assumption, especially as you come into these teachings for the first time, but definitely as you are working with them for sometimes, you will be stepping into new versions of yourself and new versions of your reality. Now, with that process, there will be a letting go of the old story. In order for you to step into this new reality, you actually have to let go of the old reality, of the old version of you. But that process of letting go is not something that is labored. It is not something that is hard. And if it's feeling hard or labored, then you haven't fully integrated the new version of you. You haven't fully stepped out of that old version of you. You're still sort of straddling worlds. There's a phrase in the Bible that Neville talks about a lot. And the phrase is, let the dead bury the dead. I want to explain exactly what that means. Let the dead bury the dead. First of all, what is the dead? The dead is reality. Reality is dead, despite it looking very alive, because reality is a reflection of past consciousness. The seed that you planted yesterday will be manifested today. Reality is the world of death. Reality is the world of shadows. It appears alive and real, but it is actually dead. There's no life in it. It's like looking into the bathroom mirror. There's no life in the bathroom mirror. You're the cause of the reflection in the bathroom mirror. There's life in you, but the bathroom mirror is the reflection of life. That's just the analogy. I know that everything has life and everything has consciousness and that a bathroom mirror is moving in and out of existence, but you get the point that I'm saying. So the dead is reality. Let the dead bury the dead. The dead is the old story. That's the old version of you that you have now gone beyond. You've stepped into a new version of you. So let reality bury the old story. What that means is you're not the one doing the burying of the old story. You're not the one who's getting rid of the old story. What you're doing is you're taking your awareness off the old story or off the old version of you, and you are placing it onto the new version of you and the new story. You have to be willing to let the dead bury the dead, meaning you have to be willing to let reality bury the old story. And I'm going to give you an example that's very recent. In fact, it just happened. Prior to coming into law of assumption, one of my big dreams in life was to become an author and to get a publishing contract. That dream manifested in 2016, and I'd written a couple of books by then. My publisher offered a contract to publish my unpublished book, but then also another book that I published. So not only did I have a publishing contract, but I also had a publisher that was publishing 2 of my books, which was amazing. And I also got an advance for that. So that was really huge for me. And I've been with my publisher since 2016. Now, those books that I have published with them, they are memoir. They are the old story, the old version of me around love and relationships and experiences with mental health. They are records of the old story. They are records of the old version of me. So what was really interesting was as I came into law of assumption, or not too long later, after really working on my self-concept and working on up-leveling my stories, my publisher went through a merger with another publisher. Part of that deal meant that all the authors had to sign a new contract. So I signed the new contract. In the back of my mind, I was aware that by signing the new contract, I was keeping the books alive. So I was keeping the old story and the old version of myself alive. That partnership has now split. Once again, all the authors have to re-sign a new contract. Now, it's pretty unheard of for publishers to go through a merger and then a demerger all within a very short amount of time. No surprise to me, of course, because this is all happening in my reality. And as I rewrite the stories within myself, my reality is reflecting back what's happening to the old story, to the old version of me. I, once again, was faced with the decision to sign the new contract. But what was interesting was the contract just wasn't coming to me. The publisher said he sent it, I didn't receive it, so I wasn't getting the contract. All the other authors had the contract. So I'm following up, hey, where's my contract? Then he sends me the contract, but then I just sit on the contract, can't bring myself to sign it. I realized I can't sign the new contract because by signing that contract, I'm essentially recommitting to the old version of me and the old stories and keeping them alive. And that is why I have been presented with this opportunity to sign the new contract multiple times since working with Law of Assumption. My reality keeps going, hey, do you want to keep going with this old story? Are you sticking with the old story? And I recently just realized I have to die to the old self. I have to be willing to give up the old story. And that means giving up a publisher, the credibility that comes with that, the book royalties, but you know what? All of that doesn't make any difference based on where I know I'm going with the new story and the new version. And I know that when I release this old version and this old story once and for all, I am free to really fully step into this new version of me and the stories that I have been working on within myself. I can't do it while I still have one foot in the old camp. And that's what I wanted to share with you. What are you still holding on to? What are you still kind of one foot in, one foot out with? Be willing to let go, knowing that this work you're doing within self will hold you. It will expand into greater versions of yourself. You cannot expand into greater versions of yourself as long as you're holding on to the old version of yourself. If you're still holding on to victimhood, you cannot be the full and loving cause of your reality because you're still in a little bit of victimhood. The other thing that I wanted to mention is when you are letting go of the old version, when you let the dead bury the dead, you're letting reality bury the old story for you. By me not signing the contract, means these books dissolve into the ether. They no longer exist. It's natural, it's effortless. Let the dead bury the dead. Let reality present that to you. You're not having to do anything for it. It will be easy and effortless. But when that moment comes, let it come and let yourself be okay with the letting of the old story go. I have to be willing to let my books go. And by letting go, I'm not doing anything to let it go. I'm just not taking any action in my reality. Let the dead bury the dead. Wow, that is a powerful phrase. This is a biblical teaching. This is what this teaching means. Let reality do it for you. You're not going to have to take any action to let this old version of yourself die its death that needs to happen in order for you to have new life. So let the dead bury the dead. Let reality bury the old version of you that you have moved beyond. I realized when I signed the last contract, I wasn't ready to let the story go. I wasn't ready to let my connection to the old story go in the form of my book. But now that time has come. And as of today, I no longer have a publisher. And once the remaining stock of my books is sold, that is the end of an era. That's the end of that old version of me. That is the end of my connection to the old story. And while those books will always be part of my story, I'm no longer bound to them. I'm no longer contractually bound to that story. We're finished. We're done. We're complete. And when you are complete with the old story, there is always a new story beginning. Do not be afraid of letting the old versions and the old stories of yourself go. It is part of this expansion process. It is part of the awakening process. It'll feel easy, and that's how you know it's right, when it just feels easy. If it feels hard, you may need to give yourself more time and space to just step into this feeling of letting it go. Don't force yourself with this. I haven't had to force myself, and when I signed the last contract, I obviously wasn't ready. But now that I've been given another opportunity to sign another contract, which is just unheard of for me to sign that many contracts, and this has all happened within the space of me working with Law of Assumption. So your reality will present you with that opportunity when that moment is right, and when that opportunity does present itself, allow it to be. Allow yourself to just step into that and be okay with it, knowing that there is so much more coming, and the good work that you have been doing will be rewarded in your manifested reality. Just take it as a confirmation of that good work that you've been doing. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that gives you inspiration to work with yourself and your old stories, to just let them go gently and easily. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my movie. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.